coverage tonight on the battle over Camp Hope. The sheriff says time is running out. He's ready to clear the largest homeless camp in the state. He says if people don't leave, they could end up in jail.
He's calling Camp Hope a protest that's gone on for far too long. He doesn't care about statewide efforts happening right now to move people somewhere safer. He says it's his duty to do something now. Esther Bauer begins our team coverage live at Camp Hope with his deadline and his plan. Esther.
Well, his plan is already in progress. Prosecutors are right now creating a warrant of abatement. Come October 14th, he says he'll use whatever means necessary to clear over 700 people living here on this plot of land.
It is my responsibility to clean it up.
Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich says he'll do what the state won't on a deadline quickly approaching.
The clock is continuing to tick.
He says this camp isn't a housing issue.
This is a drug-fueled protest of people who want no barriers and they want to do whatever they want.
He plans to offer people a bus ticket out of town, or he'll tell them to go to a shelter. If people stay, Knezovich says he'll end the protest, citing unlawful assembly, and will arrest anyone who doesn't leave.
It does not meet the criteria of no one goes to jail. Sorry. There are some bad people out there that just need it. That's where they go. That's what that needs to happen.
Homeless agencies are already doing outreach at the camp and trying to create more stability as they use $24 million from the state to move people somewhere safer.
We know that it's going to take some time to be able to really address all their needs, and so we want to stabilize what's there in a way that creates additional safety and security.
Apparently, they're going to build a fence around it. Out of sight, out of mind. Are you going to put curtains on the fence too?
He says the city, WSDOT, and the state should have done something a long time ago. The law gives him the power to take charge, and he plans to do so with whatever it takes.
This protest is about to end.
And we did ask the sheriff when was the last time he visited this camp. He tells us he's met with neighbors and businesses in the area, but he does not normally come to crime-ridden areas of the community. But he says he knows what squalor looks like. Now, when it comes to that fence, WSDOT tells us this is their next priority. In between shows, I met a pregnant woman who's living here at this camp. She tells me they will fight back. In her words, she says they do not want to be caged in and are not happy that discussions are now starting to put a fence up at this location. Reporting live in East Central, Esther Bauer, 4 News Now.
Esther, thank you. The sheriff sent many comments in the direction of Lisa Brown, the director of the Department of Commerce.
She made herself available for comment after the sheriff's press conference. And Lisa Brown visited Camp Hope just yesterday. We have a photo of her touring the camp with Julie Garcia from Jules Helping Hands. Our team coverage continues tonight with Jordan Smith, who talked with Brown this afternoon and is at Camp Hope tonight. Jordan.
Well, Brown made it clear that she would not spend much time addressing these comments made by Sheriff Knezovich. Instead, she wanted to focus on her plan to help the people here at Camp Hope and how to address each one of their needs individually. In a brief meeting with the press today, Director of the Department of Commerce, Lisa Brown, had few things to say in response to Sheriff Knezovich's comments.
Making it personal isn't going to help us get this job done. I'll just say that.
Sheriff Knezovich mentioned the idea of bus tickets to get the homeless back to where they originally came from, near their families. Brown briefly addressed that idea.
When he referenced bus tickets, I mean, ironically, we have current providers in Spokane that when they are providing services to an individual, if they find that that individual has family and support in another location, they do help them get to that location. That is part of our process, if that is appropriate and there is that support there.
She also stated that roughly 75% of the residents they spoke with at Camp Hope were originally from this area.
The idea that that works for everybody is obviously part of the problem here. The funding that we receive is supposed to focus on housing solutions.
She reaffirmed that the Department of Commerce is allocating funding to housing solutions that meet the needs of individual people living at Camp Hope. And Brown said she anticipates to release a statement alongside the Department of Transportation next week to address these comments made by Sheriff Knezovich and his plans to tear down the camp within the next 20 days. We'll be following that part of the story very closely. Guys, I'll send it back to you.